Okay. There was a YouTuber I was watching, and he said people in the comments kept saying, I kept saying, not me, somebody else, okay, so he said he's trying to stop saying queso. I thought, queso? Oh, okay, so on to the next thing. So, okay, so so tonight we're going to change up things. We're going to let dependent origination go. We're not going to get into the next part of it for a few more days. So tonight we're going to kind of lighten things up a little bit with talking about Dhamma, or generosity. There is 3 pillars of the Dhamma, and the first one is Sila. And Sila is the morality, in other words, following the 5 precepts. And you know all about that, because you've been hearing about all of that. But the second one is Dhamma, it's generosity. And it's talked about quite a bit in the suttas, but people tend to kind of ignore it. Although there's lots of good talks about it, lots of good information, but it doesn't come up very much. It's not considered very important. But it's a pillar of the Dhamma. The third pillar of the Dhamma is bhavana, or meditation. So you're doing that. So I feel like you should know something about Dhamma and generosity and how important it is, and we'll talk about all the aspects of it. But first, not to rain on my parade, I'm going to read this Dhammapada verse from the Buddhavagga, the Buddha, and he says, even if it were raining money, you'd not be sated in sensual pleasures. An astute person understands that sensual pleasures offer little gratification and much suffering. Thus they find no delight even in celestial pleasures or heavenly pleasures. A disciple of the fully awakened Buddha delights in the end of craving. And with that, we'll talk about generosity and being prosperous. Being prosperous without a craving mind. And you can be prosperous and have a mind that's free from craving. There's nothing wrong with having a pleasant life, pleasant surroundings, pleasant food, pleasant people. This is what we all want. And in fact, there's an introduction that was written in, it's on the Access to Insight website. It says, you want long life, health, beauty, power, riches, high birth, wisdom, or even some of these things? They do not appear by chance. It is not someone's luck that they are healthy or another's lack of it that he is stupid. Though it may not be clear to us now, all such inequalities among human beings and all sorts of beings come about because of the karma they have made individually. Each person reaps his own fruits. So if one is touched by short life, sickliness, ugliness, insignificance, poverty, low birth, or stupidity, and one does not like these things, no need to just accept that that is the way it is. The future need not be like that, provided that one makes the right kind of karma now. Knowing what karma to make and what not to make is the mark of a wise man. It is also the mark of one who no longer drifts aimlessly, but has some direction in life and control over the events that will occur. So we want a wholesome direction in our lives. We don't want unwholesome. Part of the wholesome is you're here meditating. The other part of the wholesome is treating your friends with loving kindness. It's having nice things. No need to have not nice things. You just don't get attached to them. You just have them. But how do you get these things? You know, a long life, health, beauty, power, they don't just come to you. You actually have to earn them. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's kind of strange, like, well, how do I win the lottery? Well, you actually have to do some things, and it's not just luck. It's actually do things like giving and being generous in the past. And these things will bear fruit. And you'll have these things. And because you're meditating, you're not going to be overly attached to them, but you'll live a nice life. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things in a nice life. So here is from the Anguttara Nikaya, number 5. One of the benefits of Dhamma, well, let me read it. Without abandoning these 5 qualities, one is incapable of entering and remaining in the first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, the fourth jhana, incapable of realizing the fruit of stream entry, the fruit of once returning, the fruit of non-returning, arhatship. Which 5 are these qualities? Stinginess as to one's monastery and lodgings. In other words, somebody comes by, they need a room to stay in, and you have a room, you give it to them. You're generous. You share with people. And this is talking about monks, of course. So that's the first one, stinginess as to one's lodgings. Stinginess as to one's family of supporters. If somebody needs something and you know somebody that can offer that, like tech support, you call on Corey or Tyler or Anurag, or I mean everybody's tech, you know, Hasi will help you. You give people ideas who to go to. So you're constantly, you know, you're kind of a central center for, yeah, I know this person, he can help you do that, you can do that, you know, and you're always helping people. Stinginess as to one's gains. If you start to get some gains and you become prosperous and you get some money, share it, give it away, help other people out. What does this do in the mind? It makes the mind start to let go of things. We have everything that we own, we grab onto and we hold on to. You know, in the monastic community, what happens is anything that a gift is given to a monastic, that gift becomes completely the property of the entire Sangha. It's not the gift, it's not the property of an individual monk. That means a monk can come and say to another monk, that looks good, can I have that? And they say, yeah, sure, and they'll give it to them. You know, if somebody gets some requisites, I need some toothpaste, oh, I have toothpaste, here, take it. Or I have a robe, oh, okay, take it. So everything is shared. Nothing is held back. And we should practice more of this. It's like we're all in a monastic community. We're all in a lay community. So if somebody needs something, you provide it. If we need to help with an electric bill, we help pay for it. If we need, you know, any kind of help, we help with that. One's status. So stinginess as to one's status is number 4. One's status. Maybe you're a big wig in some corporate circle and you have some connections and somebody needs a job and you can provide some information about a job. Or you're you're the mayor of the community, or you have a higher post and use that to help other people. The number 5 is stinginess as to the Dhamma. So if you know how to meditate and it's helped you, share it with other people. Never proselytize. There's a saying that says, become the Buddha, not a Buddhist. And I know some people, they leave the retreat, they have some really great experiences, and then they try to tell everybody that they should do this. No, just tell people that this is what happened to you and it's really beneficial. If they're interested, they'll ask more. If they're not, well, it's fine. The Dhammapada 223 says, conquer stinginess with a gift. You know, maybe we have a neighbor, we don't get along with this neighbor. Maybe his dog's barking. We have some issue with the neighbor. You know, in the olden days, people would go around when somebody new moved in. They'd go around and they'd take some food and give it to them. They'd say, well, welcome to the neighborhood. I don't think they probably do that anymore, but it's a gift. And, you know, you start off a relationship by giving a gift, and they get a gift from you. You know, they're not going to think bad thoughts about you. You're going to think, well, could be a good person. We'll wait and see, but, you know, or they're just trying to bribe me. There will be suspicion at first. Why are they doing this? What do they want? But if you have an ongoing sense of giving things, of helping, they'll understand it's very sincere. And they might just try to, you know, do the same thing. But you won't have any problems with them. If there's a problem, you can work it out. So if you have somebody that you're angry with, or they're angry with you, give them a gift. That means not an inappropriate gift, but an appropriate gift. Something, you know, something small maybe, something not too outlandish. I don't know, you'll have to figure that out. But give them something. It'll just change their opinion just 180 degrees. They might be suspicious, of course, but they'll just take a moment to reflect. What's going on here? Maybe he's not so bad. In the Anguttara Nikaya 5.35, these are the 5 rewards of generosity. One is dear and appealing to people at large. One is admired by good people. One's good name is spread about. One does not stray from the rightful duties of the householder. And with the breakup of the body at death, one reappears in a good destination, in the heavenly worlds. So we can't prove any of that, but we hope so. I always felt like doing all this meditation practice, you know, they say, well, you're going to have a good rebirth, and you're going to get off samsara, and you're going to, you know, all these, you know, things that are good, but really can't be proven. So I thought, well, just in case that all of that is there, and we don't just die and become a bunch of ashes or a body in the ground and it's over with, if we do, then okay, problem solved. We meditated, we had some good experiences, we got rid of some hindrances, we led a good life, and then we died. Okay? But if the rest of the story keeps going, hey, we're going to be set. So we've got it covered both ways. We have a happy life and we have a happy next life.
Dave,
yeah.
Even if you were to be, you know, afterlife, like, you'd still like affect the future sangha. You know what I mean? Like the good deeds you did, they would still like live on through other people.
Yeah.
That's like a third. I don't want to interject, but
no, that's true. The effect that you're having now in this life is affecting other people's lives. I mean, just me being up here hopefully will affect your lives, and then you'll go on to affect other people's lives. So, yeah, good point. But the benefits also, there's 5 benefits of generosity. There's also 5 benefits of following the precepts. And I think we've gone over those. And one of the benefits of following the precepts is going to a heavenly world. Because people in heaven don't go around stealing killing, that's not heavenly. That's not angelic. In fact, where you're going, and where you're going really even in this lifetime, is you will be gradually moving toward people that are just like you. If you're following the precepts, you'll be surrounded most of the time by people following the precepts. Now, I started following the precepts I finally said, okay, I gotta do this, after some retreats. But I've been following the precepts since 1989. And now I am surrounded by people who are always following the precepts and with really good meditation. And it's amazing. And I'm sitting here in a beautiful Dhamma hall. I live here in the forest. And things are good. So what I did is I just followed the precepts, and I followed the way, and I followed generosity, and I followed all of these things, and it worked. It didn't take very long either. So the more that you follow the precepts, the more you're going to be around people who probably are. And if you're around people that don't, well, keep following it, be patient, because eventually those people will disappear and other people will come to replace them, take their place. Another sutta: if beings knew as I know the results of giving and sharing, they would not eat without having given, nor would the stain of miserliness overcome their minds. Even if it were their last bite, their last mouthful, they would not eat without having shared, if there were someone to receive their gift. But because beings do not know as I know the results of giving and sharing, they eat without having given. The stain of miserliness overcomes their minds. And there's one saying that somebody asked the Buddha, okay, I gave a gift, so now what do we do? He said, well, give another gift. And don't stop. Just keep going. Yeah, so I started with Buddhism way back, before some of you were born, but back in the 70s, and I was not prosperous, and I lived in this room in a part on the side of a garage, and at times it wasn't great, but I did have a fairly decent job of starting to work, and I had just left this meditation center because they closed down, and so I had to go to work. I didn't really have any formal training, so to speak, but I started to take some classes and things. And I lived in this, small rooms. And next to a garage. The guy who I was renting it from would come home Friday nights and Saturday nights, and the garage door would swing open and shake the whole building. And I would be trying to sleep because, and he's like, sorry, man, it's my garage. Okay, fine. And I thought, what can I do to, be happier about this? And I thought, because then I thought, well, I was reading some suttas, reading about generosity, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to write a check to my favorite Vipassana meditation center and send it in. And I did, and it made me feel better, just a little bit better. And I started to do that, like $10 a month, or just little random gifts. And pretty soon I started to feel better. Work went really well, and my gifts got bigger, and things started to do better. And so basically now I'm here. I donated Bhante's cabin. I donated a lot of the dining hall, some of the dining hall. I donated a lot here, and now I'm here. So whatever you donate to, or whatever you put your energy towards, you could end up there. if you want, and end up, getting that gift back in a way you might not expect, but is completely related. So, I think it's a good training. Giving a little bit here and there. Let me continue on with a few suttas. All right, so Vacha. This is from Anguttara Nikaya once again. Anguttara Nikaya is just full of great stuff. That's the book that's over there. It's the 1s, the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11s. So there's these 11 things. So the sutras are arranged in, there are these 11 things, monks. There's this, and this, and this. You should do this, and this. But there's these 4 things. There's the 4 noble truths. There's the 4 right efforts. So it's all arranged in the list form. But there's all kinds of great nuggets that are in there. Vacha. Whoever prevents another from giving a gift creates 3 obstructions, 3 impediments. Which 3? He creates an obstruction to the merit of the giver, an obstruction to the recipient's gains. And prior to that, he undermines and harms his own self. Whoever prevents another from giving a gift creates these 3 obstructions, these 3 impediments. I tell you, Vacha, even if a person throws the rinsings of a bowl or a cup into a village pool or pond, thinking, may whatever animals live here feed on this, that would be a source of merit, to say nothing of what is given to human beings. But I do say that what is given to a virtuous person is of great fruit, and not so much what is given to an unvirtuous person. So don't stop anybody from giving. Don't go, oh, that's too much, or they don't need anything. You always let other people give whatever they want to give. That's their thing. Because the moment you stop them, you're doing the exact opposite of giving. You're just creating more bad merit by stopping somebody else. Not to speak of you're not giving. So support Dhamma from everyone. Yeah.
Isn't there something in the suttas that says something to the effect that if you are a very generous person, but you don't encourage others to give, you will become rich, but you will have no friends?
That's exactly. I've got it in here. Yeah.
Say that one again?
Yeah. Because say that a little louder.
Sorry. If you are generous, you will become rich. But if you do not encourage others to be generous, then you will reap those benefits without friends.
Let me see it. Yeah, well, I'm not sure. It might be in here. Let's try this one here. The Anguttara Nikaya again, Book of the Sevens, 7.52 on giving. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying in Kampa on the shore of the Gagara lake. Then a large number of lay followers from Kampa went to the Venerable Sariputta, and on arrival, having bowed down to him, sat to one side. As they were sitting there, they said to Venerable Sariputta, "It has been a long time, Venerable Sir, since we have had a chance to hear a Dhamma talk in the Blessed One's presence. If it would be good if we could hear a Dhamma talk in the Blessed One's presence." Then in that case, friends, come again on the next Uposatha day, and perhaps you'll get to hear a Dhamma talk in the Blessed One's presence. Uposatha is the full moon day, and every month, on the lunar calendar, when it's a full moon, it is said for lay followers, devoted lay followers, to take up the 8 precepts and to follow those and to avoid entertainments and to study the Dhamma and meditate. So once a month, if you find yourself able to, it would be of great merit for you to follow the 8 precepts once again. Now obviously you're following them every day and you're making a lot of good, what we call merit, good mental, wholesome results. Then in that case, okay, as you say, Venerable Sir, the lay followers from Kampa said to Venerable Sariputta, rising from their seats, bowing down to him, then circling him, keeping him on their right, they left. Now, of course, Venerable Sariputta was the right-hand man of the Buddha. He was called the general of the Dhamma. He knew it cold. He was the smartest monk outside of the Buddha that there was. And anything that he would say would basically, the Buddha would say, well, that's what I would say. Then on the following Uposatha day, the lay followers from Kampa went to the Venerable Sariputta and on arrival, having bowed down to him, stood to one side. Then Venerable Sariputta, together with the lay followers from Kampa, went to the Blessed One, and on arrival, having bowed down to him, sat to one side. As he was sitting there, he said to the Blessed One, might there be the case where a person gives a gift of a certain sort, and it does not bear great fruit or great benefit, whereas another person gives a gift of the same sort, and it bears great fruit and great benefit? Yes, Sariputta, there would be the case where a person gives a gift of a certain sort, and it does not bear great fruit or great benefit, whereas another person gives a gift of the same sort, and it bears great fruit and great benefit. Lord, what is the cause, what is the reason why a person gives a gift of a certain sort, and it does not bear great fruit or great benefit, whereas another person gives a gift of the same sort, and it bears great fruit and great benefit? Sariputta, there is the case where a person gives a gift seeking his own profit, with a mind attached to the reward, seeking to store up for himself with the thought, I'll enjoy this gift after death. He gives his gift, food, drink, clothing, a vehicle, a garland, perfume or ointment, bedding, shelter, or a lamp, to a Brahmin or a contemplative. What do you think, Sariputta? Might a person give such a gift as this? Yes, Lord. So this, what is, well, actually it explains it right here. So having given this gift, seeking his own profit, with the mind attached to the reward. So you give a gift, say, give a gift to a monk, and when you give it, you're thinking, this is going to get me a heavenly reward. Okay. Having given this gift, seeking his own profit, with the mind attached to the reward, seeking to store up for himself with the thought, I'll enjoy this after death. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the 4 great kings. Then, having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a returner coming back to this world. Then there is the case of a person who gives a gift, not seeking his own profit, not with the mind attached to the reward, not seeking to store up for himself, not with the thought, I'll enjoy this after death. Instead, he gives a gift with the thought, giving is good. He gives his gift, food, drink, clothing, a vehicle, a garland, perfume, ointment, bedding, shelter, and a lamp, to a Brahmin or a contemplative. What do you think, Sariputta? Might a person give such a gift as this? Yes, Lord. Having given this gift with the thought, giving is good, on the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the Devas of the 33. Then, having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is returner coming back to this world. So what is the Devas of the 33? Well, there's a chart back there. There's, above the human existence, the human realm, there are 6 heavenly realms. And the first realm is the realm of the 4 kings. Now, the realm of the 4 kings includes things like spirits, not ghosts, that's actually the lower realms. but positive things. Tree spirits, lower level devas, or devas are angelic beings. It's a first realm above the human realm. It's very nice. It has a much longer lifespan, but it's not as good as the realm of the 33, where Sukha, the king of the gods, lives. This is a much nicer realm. It's a much nicer lifespan. So the point here is somebody gave a gift hoping they would get a heavenly birth. They did, but only to the realm of the four kings. And that means that they could be a spirit in a tree outside. A leprechaun, those kind of spirits and things. But a person giving a gift with no regard for what the result is has a much higher birth. That's done with not a stingy mind. So they're developing a higher mental state in that case. Or let's see. The devas of the 33. Then having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a returner coming back to this world. Or instead of thinking giving is good, he gives a gift with the thought, this was given in the past, done in the past, by my father and grandfather. It would not be right for me to let this old family custom be discontinued. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the devas of the hours. Then having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a returner coming back to this world. So it's a family custom to give this gift. So you give a gift. Your parents say you should, you go to church and you put money in the alms bowl. You don't know anything about trying to get to heaven or anything. You're just giving because it's a custom to give. So the intention in your mind is more pure than a kind of, I'm trying to get something out of it. But it's not the purest. Or instead, he gives a gift with the thought, I am well off. These are not well off. It would not be right for me, being well off, not to give a gift to those who are not well off. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the contented devas. Now this is another realm of the devas, which we're not going to get into here. Then having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a returner coming back to this world. So this is somebody who has wealth and is really not trying to, get anywhere, but he sees that, well, this person is not well off. This is like a homeless person or somebody who's very poor, and you give them some money and it helps them. So I'll tell you a little story about that. We were at Walmart, and me and Delson and Kirsten, and we left Walmart, and sometimes there's families, homeless people on the corners, not very many. But this time there was this guy, had long hair, young guy, and it looked like a wife and a baby. And Delson looks at him, and I look at him, and I'm going, some people are just out for the money and they're just outside job. But they look like they really could use some help. So Delson rolls down the window, and I'm stopping, we're all looking over here, and it says, homeless, our family really needs, some support. He opens his wallet up, hands out a $100 bill to them, says, here. And the guy says, no way, man. No way. And he looks at the wife, and Delson rolls the window back up, and we merrily go on. I thought it was great. That's more than I've ever given to a homeless person, but all right, I stand corrected. And he just let it go. I said, why did you do that? He says, I think that they actually did need it. And so I gave it to them. He's a very generous person. He bought me this watch, this Apple Watch, and Kirsten watch. So, we were at an Apple store, he needed a new phone. And then he says, because we've been talking about watches. He said, why don't you guys pick out a couple watches or just get them? I said, what? Well, you need one. No, for yourself. Well, what? Yeah, no, just get them, I'll take care of it. He's got this credit card, Amazon Prime credit card. And we got some watches. So I was very surprised, very happy to. So he's and as a result, he's surrounded by billionaires, and I mean, he went to Hawaii and he went to the Four Seasons and he went to the Ritz, and these people set all this up for him. It was like, wow, this guy is married, just coming, and he's just making more money, just gets money, just gives it away. Amazing. Okay, we're going to keep going up the chain here. Or instead, he gives a gift with the thought, just as there were the great sacrifices of the sages in the past, Ataka, Vamaka, Vamadeva, Samhita, and so on. In the same way, this will be my distribution of gifts. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the companies who delight in creation. Then, having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a returner coming back to this world. Now, the devas that delight in creation are able to manifest things. They just think about them and they manifest them. This is the fifth deva realm. But his gift it looks like that he's, in a sense, willing all the money that he has left, in the way he sacrifices all, he gives away all his money in the way that somebody would leave money to, their children or to an organization. And he just lets go of everything. So he ends up in the fifth deva realm. Or instead, he gives a gift with the thought, with this gift of mine is given, it makes the mind serene. Gratification and joy arise. So he gives a gift with the idea that this is worthy of doing, just giving. It will make my mind happy, and it will make me tranquil. His intention is so pure. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the devas who have power over creations of others. This is the sixth deva realm. This is where you have so much merit that you can just tell the people in the fifth deva realm to take care of whatever you need. You delegate. You don't need to manifest. You just have them do it. Or instead of thinking, when this gift of mine is given, it makes the mind serene. Gratification and joy arise. He gives the gift with the thought, this is an ornament for the mind, the support of the mind. He gives his gift food, drink, clothing, a vehicle, a garland, perfume, ointment, bedding, shelter, a lamp, to a Brahmin or a contemplative. What do you think, Sariputta? Might a person give such a gift as this? Having given this, not seeking his own profit, not with a mind attached to the reward, not seeking to store up for himself, nor with the thought, I'll enjoy this after death, nor with the thought of giving is good. So these are all the levels that we just went through. Nor with the thought giving is good, nor with the thought this was given in the past, done in the past by my father and grandfather. It would not be right for me to let this old family custom be discontinued. Nor with the thought, I am well off, these are not well off. It would not be right for me, being well off, not to give a gift to those who are not well off, not with the thought, just as there were the great sacrifices of the sages of the past, etc. In the same way, this will be my distribution of gifts. Nor with the thought, when this gift is mine, it makes the mind serene, gratification and joy arise. See, he wanted the mind to be serene, so that was actually still a little bit of craving there. but with the thought, this is an ornament of the mind. This is good just for the sake of doing it, a support of the mind. He has no intention of getting anything. On the breakup of the body after death, he reappears in the company of Brahma's retinue. Then, having exhausted that action, that power, that status, that sovereignty, he is a non-returner. He does not come back to this world. Now, this is a person who is giving a gift with a completely pure mind. That's probably not any of us, because this is a person who has gotten rid of hatred and sensual desire. He just gives for the sake of giving. We can get close to that, but this is somebody who no longer comes back to the human realm, but he appears in the realm of the non-returners, the realm of the anagamis, the pure abodes. He no longer comes back. He goes on to become an arhat. This Sariputta is the cause, this is the reason why a person gives a gift of a certain sort and it does not bear great fruit or great benefit. Whereas another person gives a gift of the same sort and it bears great fruit and great benefit. So it's your intention in the mind. When you give a gift, see what you're thinking. And maybe just let that thought go and just give the gift with the idea, this is worth giving because it's just worth doing. Just the last thing about the power of giving. It won't be the whole sutta, just a part of it. So this is 142. There is a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya about giving. This is the Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta, 142, the exposition of offerings. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was living in the Sakyan country at Kapilavatthu in Nigroda's park. Then Mahapajapati Gotami took a new pair of cloths and went to the Blessed One. After paying homage to him, she sat down at one side and said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, this new pair of cloths has been spun by me, woven by me, especially for the Blessed One. Venerable Sir, let the Blessed One accept it from me, out of compassion. Now Mahapajapati was the Buddha's in a sense, his nanny. The Buddha, when he was born, his mother died in 7 days, and then she arose to a celestial realm because of the merit of having the Buddha, the future Buddha. But then this lady was the Buddha's, does anybody know, cousin?
Wetners.
Which?
Wetners.
Well, yeah, it was, the Wetners. And then she just took on the job to raise him. So she wove something for him and gave it to him. When this was said, the Blessed One told her, give it to the Sangha, Gotami. When you give it to the Sangha, both I and the Sangha will be honored. A second time and a third time she said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, no, accept it from me out of compassion. I'm giving it to you. Forget the Sangha, I'm giving it to you because, I appreciate you. And the Buddha said, no. A second time, third time, give it to the Sangha, Gotami. When you give it to the Sangha, both I and the Sangha will be honored. So there's an explanation of what this means. But what it does mean is when you give a gift to a monk, the way that it's considered is you're giving a gift to the entire Sangha. That monk is just taking the gift on behalf of the whole Sangha with the Buddha at its head. So when you give a gift to a monk, think in your mind, see, the reason for this is because when you give a gift to one monk, it's just giving a gift to one person. When you give a gift to the Sangha, you're giving that gift to all the monks. When you're giving a gift to the Sangha with the Buddha at its head, you're giving a gift to the Sangha and the Buddha. And then you can also give that gift to the Sangha of the past, the Sangha of the future, the Sangha of the present with the Buddha at its head. And then the merit that you make, the good results that you accrue, and the joy that you will have is the highest. So the Buddha's saying, basically offer it to the Sangha with the Buddha at its head. And then she finally understands it. But he goes on to say, there are 14 kinds. He starts to delineate what all of these gifts are and the power of each gift. There are 14 kinds of personal offerings, Ananda. One gives a gift to the Tathagata, accomplished and fully enlightened. This is the first kind of personal offering, given it personally to one person. One gives a gift to a Pacceka Buddha. This is the second kind of personal offering. Pacceka Buddha is a Buddha that has realized Buddhahood on his own, just like the Supreme Buddha that we're following, but he doesn't teach. He says, it's enough. I think I'll just hang out and enjoy my attainment. There's typically no Pacceka Buddhas during the time that there is a Supreme Buddha. They come in different time periods. This is the second kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to an Arhat disciple of the Tathagata, a fully realized being that has no fetters. This is the third kind of personal offering. So you have the Buddha, Pacceka Buddha, and an Arhat, so 3 different people. One gives a gift to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of Arhatship. So that means somebody who's attained to the path of Arhatship. They have the path Nibbana experience, like I was talking the other night, 2 experiences of Nibbana for each attainment. So they've got the path, and now they're on the way to gaining full Arhatship. This is the fourth kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to a non-returner. This is the fifth kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of non-return. This is the sixth kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to a once returner. This is the seventh kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of one's return. This is the eighth kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to a stream enterer. This is the ninth kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of stream entry. This is the 10th kind of personal offering. One gives a gift to one outside of the dispensation. This is somebody who's probably who's a lay follower, but it's not a monk, who is free from lust for sensual pleasures. This is the 11th kind of personal offering. I would say this is probably an anagami, but this person's not a monk. One gives a gift to a virtuous ordinary person. This is the 12th kind of personal offering. This is somebody who's following the 5 precepts. One gives a gift to an immoral ordinary person. This is the 13th kind of personal offering. They're not following the precepts. They're just living their life however they want. One gives a gift to an animal. This is the 14th kind of personal offering. Herein, Ananda, by giving a gift to an animal, the offering may be expected to repay 100-fold. By giving a gift to an immoral ordinary person, the offering may be expected to repay 1,000-fold. By giving a gift to a virtuous ordinary person, the offering may be expected to repay 100,000-fold. By giving a gift to one outside the dispensation who is free from lust for sensual pleasures, the offering may be expected to repay 100,000 times 100,000-fold. By giving a gift to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of stream entry, the offering may be expected to repay incalculably, immeasurably. There is no number. What then should be said about giving the gift to a stream enterer? What should be said about giving a gift to a entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of one's return? To a once returner, to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of non-return, to a non-returner, to one who has entered upon the way to the realization of the fruit of arhatship, to an arhat, to a Pacheka Buddha. What should be said about giving a gift to a Tathagata accomplished and fully enlightened? Now that's what she's trying to give, a gift to him. Not a bad gift, incalculable merit. But there are 7 kinds of offerings made to the Sangha, Ananda. One gives a gift to a Sangha of both bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, headed by the Buddha. This is the first kind of offering made to the Sangha. One gives a gift to a Sangha of both bhikkhus and bhikkhunis after the Tathagata has attained final Nibbana. He's gone, but the Sangha is still there. You give a gift to the whole Sangha. This is something you would do today. This is the second kind of offering made to the Sangha. One gives a gift to a Sangha of bhikkhus. This is the third kind of offering made to the Sangha. One gives a gift to a Sangha of bhikkhunis. This is the fourth kind of offering made to the Sangha. One gives a gift saying, appoint so many bhikkhus and bhikkhunis for me from the Sangha. This is the fifth kind of offering made to the Sangha. So it's like you invite a certain number of monks over to your house for lunch or something and say, well, get me 5 monks, get me some number. And you're doing this. Now, you can give a gift to the entire Sangha with the Buddha at its head. You just do it in your mind. Because when you give it, you consider that the monk is representative of the entire Sangha. Appoint so many bhikkhus for me from the Sangha. This is the sixth kind of offering made to the Sangha. One gives a gift saying, appoint so many bhikkhunis for me from the Sangha. This is the seventh kind of offering made to the Sangha. In future times, Ananda, there will be members of the clan who are yellow necks, immoral, of evil character. People will give gifts to these immoral persons for the sake of the Sangha. Even then, the sasana, or the Sangha of monks, will last 5,000 years. We're in the third 1,000 years, so we're about 2,600 years. So we're a little bit over halfway through. So there's another 2,500 years that people will have even heard of the Buddha. At the very end, there will be no robes. There will be just yellow, like, handkerchiefs tied around, and that will be it. I mean, maybe it'll be like an armband or something. And they won't be moral. They won't be following precepts. But there's even monks now that don't follow precepts. In some of these other cultures, they're not following precepts. They think they're following their set of rules. And they're wearing robes, and they're doing very strange things. So even now, it's kind of like that. But as long as we're following precepts, monks and these orders are following precepts, everything is okay. But at that point, at 5,000 years from now, there will be very little in the way of moral monks left. But people will give gifts to those immoral persons for the sake of the Sangha. Even then, I say, an offering made to the Sangha is incalculable, immeasurable. And I say that in no way is a gift to a person individually ever more fruitful than an offering made to the entire Sangha. And then there's a lot more about the purification. The rest of this is about the fact that if you give, say, a gift to an immoral person, you are purifying that gift. It will become, it's more merit to give something to an immoral person from a moral person than an immoral person to an immoral person. A highest is an arhat giving a gift to another arhat. There's pure intention on both sides. So this gets down into, trying to get into the nitty-gritty of the power of the giving. But the point here is, give a gift. When you give a gift to a monk, give it to the whole Sangha with the Buddha at its head. And it's the intention in your mind. Whenever you're giving, it's always the intention. If somebody says you give a gift because you're supposed to do that, there's not much of an intention. But if you don't give a gift and you say, I'm not going to do it, you make no merit, nothing, because you had no action. Karmically, there is no action, so there's no result. Even if you start out by giving that $10, you make a little bit of merit, and you have some good results come back. But if I thought $10 is nothing, what are they going to do with it? I just won't give it. Then I would not have had any happiness come from that. I would not have felt like I'm helping. When you help somebody else, are you thinking about yourself? No. You're thinking about them. And so when you start helping other people, all your problems start to disappear, because you are helping others and you're not thinking about yourself. And gradually, those thoughts about yourself diminish, and you're just part of everybody else. And then you start to realize maybe you're not so bad, and that you deserve a gift. So you go give yourself a gift. You think, because many people, they'll give things to other people, but they'll live in a very low lifestyle. They won't spend any money on themselves, but they'll spend money on others. Some people won't spend money on themselves, they won't spend money on anybody else. Some people will spend money on themselves and they will spend money on others. These are the most prosperous. This is what we should do. When a virtuous person to an immoral person gives with trusting heart a gift righteously obtained, placing faith that the fruit of action is great, the giver's virtue purifies the offering. When an immoral person to a virtuous person gives with untrusting heart a gift unrighteously obtained, nor places faith that the fruit of action is great, the receiver's virtue purifies the offering. So an immoral person giving a gift to somebody who's moral, if they stole something and they gave it to them, and they didn't understand that giving has power, but they just gave it to them. This is just a normal, ordinary person. And they thought, well, that person needs a bite from my pizza. Okay, I'll give it to him. The person receiving it might be Sariputta. And in fact, there was a story where Sariputta was seen by the executioner of the kingdom. His job was to cut off everybody's head that the king ordered. Well, he had nothing. He was so poor that he had to borrow, that the wife and him had to borrow their clothes before they could go out. So he could only go out, and then he would give clothes to her, and then she could go out. But when he was out, he saw Sariputta coming along with this bowl and robe, and he just thought he had a little bit of rice, and he offered it to Sariputta. And Sariputta took it, and it made him very happy. And he later died. And so the monk said, what happened to this executioner? He did so many evil things. Did he certainly end up in hell? And the Buddha said, no. He gave a gift with a righteous mind. He gave a gift to Sariputta, the general of the Dhamma. And he had happiness. And when he was reborn in a heavenly realm. So just the power of that gift given to a super moral person had that much power. And they said, well, what happened to him after that? And the Buddha Don't ask. No, we don't go there. Hopefully he's still up in that nice heavenly realm, but we don't know what's coming next. Anyway, that's enough of the sutta. And with that, I will say that that's dana, that's generosity. Let go of things. It'll all come back to you. Don't worry about holding on to anything, because whatever you give, it'll come back in some.